So we've started to wire the LEDs on the back of the playfield, and what we're doing to give a little looseness to the cable so that the staples don't break or cut into the wire, we're placing the wire down, we're putting a screwdriver on top of it, and we're stapling on top of the screwdriver. So I'm going to come around this way. Well, actually, I'm going to go this way. And that one didn't go in very far, but I think we can tap it in with a hammer. We're still working this out. This is basically our test. God, I wish I could get a little flatter. I'm afraid that's going to come out though. Both of those are a little high. Do you have a little hammer?
I do.
So let's stop here. So we're continuing along with the installation of these LEDs, and we're at a spot where we have just a tiny bit of space. So if you point down to the thing, I'll show them what we're doing here. We've just put this LED in, and we're going to need to put a staple here, then move this loop up, put this one down here, and then put another staple over here. And that's going to be really tight, so I might not be able to get the screwdriver in there while I'm doing that. But I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to put it as fairly close to the edge here to try and get it to hold. And then I'm going to bring the next one, I'm going to fold that back, bring that one there. Maybe I can get the screwdriver in. And if I put the right end of the stapler up front, I think that actually got it okay. So we will continue. Now we're going to have this rather long service loop in here, and we chose that for the convenience of spreading out. So that's going to be a little ugly looking, and we know that for this prototype. We might look for something better in the future. But for now, this is a ready-made working string, and we don't have to do anything with it except staple it to the board. And
did you want to tighten that staple up a little bit, maybe, with your hammer? Show them how we're doing that?
I could tap that in a little bit. These aren't the best staples for this job either. They're not quite strong enough.
Put the lens in the center. There you go.
That's enough for now.
Okay.
We plan to put little dabs of hot glue where each of these staples are once we are comfortable that the lights are all where we want them to be, and that will kind of help insulate it and keep it from rubbing and shorting out against the staples, even though I don't expect that to be a real major problem. So we've continued on. We've gotten quite a few of these wired in already. It's going really well. We have changed our technique a little bit. We've gotten rid of the screwdriver because it just was causing a lot of problems, and we've added a little piece of metal that we just cut out of a piece of scrap metal laying around, a little sheet metal, bent it around, and that holds the staple gun a little off the wire so that it doesn't crimp down, and now it's a lot faster to staple things down. Mike, if you want to hold this, I'll knock a couple of them in there so they can see. Ooh, and there I messed up. Caught on film. But braided wire, not really a problem. It didn't cut through the wire. There we go. Yep, that missed a little bit there. Yeah, I'm gonna take it back out. Did we mention that we're not professionals? There we go.
So just to be on the safe side, Ed, I want to mark the location that you went through.
Right here.
Just in case we might have a problem, then we know where to look.
Oops, sorry. Pushing this closer up to my thing. By putting these at a little bit of an angle, it's a lot easier to position the LED strings than trying to lay them one on top of the other. That's getting in my way though back there.
Okay, Ed.
Okay.
Lesson over.
So we've gotten to the first spot where we can't reach from one hole to the other with the LED string. If you look down here, you'll see that this is the last hole we did, and the next options are these two holes over here. And we have a choice of either unsoldering this and soldering a longer piece of wire in, or just wasting an LED. And we're going to choose to just waste the LED. So there'll be an extra LED under the board here. We'll never turn it on, and it'll just sit there and pass the signals and data. But the other thing that we are going to do is we want to get to this hole, and the easiest way to get there is to go underneath the flipper assembly here. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the flipper assembly a little bit so we can slide this string under there, and then we're going to staple those down so that they can't short out against anything. And is it stuck to the board, or is am I missing something?
It's got the flipper on the other side of it that might
the
be...
flipper's right here. So that shouldn't bother this end, I wouldn't think. I think it's probably just...
I think it's just stuck.
Yep, I think it's just stuck. Okay, so with that lifted up just a little bit, that should be enough.
Go under the harness.
Slip under this harness. Slip under this. You know, I would expect this work as dull as dirt to 80% of the people watching. Maybe 98% of the people watching.
For me and you more than anything.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, one more light. And that's where we're going to be. Okay.
So now that light reaches?
This light reaches easily.
Okay, so we just got to...
So we're burning that one light right there.
Okay.
And then we should be able to make the next holes here and step on down there without any problem. Okay, we have, for the most part, finished wiring up the lights on this board. It doesn't look too bad. It could be a little neater, but all in all, it isn't too bad. So far, we have wasted 2 LEDs. The one we showed you over here, that's just a wasted LED. And we have another one that's right back here. Now, right now, we have not put any lights in the bumpers. And we have 2 holes one right there and one right there that need lights in them. And we have a connector right here between the two strings of 50 that we have been working with. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a small string that it just connects these 5 lights, and it'll just plug in where that connector is. So that's something we're going to do another night, not tonight. But we are ready now to take this and plug it into the machine. I don't have the ability here to program this, so right now it's going to come up the way it's been programmed. And since this is the end of the string, most of these lights are going to be just, I believe they're red colored. And most of the lights that are down here on the floor that haven't been hooked up to anything yet and will eventually go into the back box will be acting as the control lights right now. But when we reprogram them, they will all work correctly. So we'll put the thing back in the box, and then we'll bring you back when we turn it on. Okay, we've plugged the table back in, turned the box on, and put it into test mode to get as many of the lights to flash as possible. Since these aren't programmed to the right lights, they're doing really strange things, but generally you can see that the lights are working well. Some of them that we haven't wired up yet in the back box are underneath, and they are down there flashing and blinking because they think they're playfield lights. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to record the order that we have these lights in. I'm going to take the board back home, and I'm going to reprogram it to what the right lights, and then this table should actually play correctly. So can't wait for that. But this pretty much is going to end it here for tonight, I believe. You want to lift up the thing, we'll just show them the ones inside. So anyway, there's the rest of the LEDs. I know they wash out the camera a little bit, but they look really good here in person. So we're really happy with the way they look. You can see under the table, everything seems to be working, and the lights that aren't working because they don't think they're part of the game right now. But again, when I reprogram them, they should all work perfectly. So that's it. This will be the last of the filming tonight. We're going to pull the board back out and make a list of the order that we've run the strings in so that we can program it correctly. And the next time we come back, you should see a board that's working completely. Thank you. Anything else to say, Mike?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, you guys have a good week. So we're starting to modify the bumpers, what are those things called?
Thumper bumpers.
Thumper bumpers. And we have to remove the lights, so we removed the wires off of them the other day, and now we have to pull out the little metal holder that used to hold the old bulbs. And you can see how that looks. It's just a outer and inner conductor that runs down the bottom and carries power up to power the bulb. We're going to put one of the LEDs up in here, and we're going to have to somehow, and we haven't quite figured this out yet, but those little tiny holes right there, we have to bring the power and signal wires up through those holes to the LEDs that are in this string. So we'll be working on that. As we continue, we'll show you what we figured out for doing this. But all three of them, they'll have to have a signal wire coming in and a signal wire leaving and a power and a ground at a minimum coming up here. So at a minimum 4 wires have to come in here, which would be 2 wires through each of those holes. So we've decided that what we're going to do is drill the holes out a little bit so that we can get the 3 wires into there. We've already drilled one as a test hole, so you can see that that hole right there is considerably bigger than that hole, but it still leaves some of the plastic around it. And we're going to go ahead and drill the rest of them out. Go ahead, Mike, you can do the drilling, and then I'll show them that the 3 wires will fit through them without any problem. Okay, so let me pause the video for a second, and I will grab a wire and show you how it fits. Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't see which hole you said.
This one.
Okay, so we have 3 wires here. We have it divided up so it's easier to put in, but go ahead. So there's the 2 wires and the 3rd wire, and as you can see, they go up and down through there quite easily. They don't drag and they don't bind. So we will build some custom LEDs. We're talking about maybe putting 2 or 3 LEDs up in here instead of just 1, so we can do some chasing patterns or something like that, make something a little more interesting than just light. So we'll continue to think about that, and but for now we have the ability to put our lights up in here, and probably the next time we're down here we will work on that.